Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Welcome to this edition of Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate. Now, like I always tell you, an incredible life story is indeed an incredible life story, depending on how you look at it. But for tonight's edition of Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate, it's something I prefer to call incredible in capital letters. Now, there's a new wave that's brewing across not just Uganda, but the whole of Africa, or maybe even the world. Recreational running, where folks have decided that for many reasons, known and unknown to them, they will take to the roads, they will take to the tracks and run for health reasons, for entertainment reasons, and for many other reasons depending on what's chasing them or what they are chasing after. In Uganda, there's a phenomenon that's growing, and they have a big team called Team Matoke. In there, you have old folks like myself who've decided that among the things that we should do in our retirement or even for retirement or for our own entertainment, we'll do some running. And this is not just done across the undulating hills of the capital Kampala or in other places we find serenity to run, but for the most part, we're going out of our comfort zones and taking on marathons in our beautiful city and elsewhere in the world where they manifest. Tonight on the program, I have a young man who has decided that even though he's not an elite athlete, running is his thing, and he has distinguished himself in that way. Now, just in under 3 weeks, there was the ultimate human endurance race, also known as the Comrades Run in South Africa. It is a 90-kilometer stretch between Durban, another city whose name I cannot easily pronounce, and the guy with me on the program will pronounce it better for you. And this joined 42 other Ugandans to have a take on this run. Not for his first time, but for his second time. And boy oh boy, how he performed himself to the heights. Scoring 6 hours and 55 minutes. Collins Cherotich returned as the fastest Ugandan in this particular race for 90 kilometers. Collins, you still have legs to carry you around. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Simon. I'm glad to be here today.
If anyone was told that you can run 90 kilometers and still have enough time to sit down with me and share your incredible life story, they would want to look at how your cuffs are made, or do you have a turbo engine mounted to your back?
Yeah, sure. I think it's just something which is inborn. Many people will say it hails from the mountains where
Your
I come
name
from.
says it.
Oh yeah,
Cherotich.
Cherotich.
If you were Kasyate, maybe, or you should put a teach at the end of my name.
Oh,
After
yeah.
all, it ends with a T.
That would end up around Kasyate.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah. So beautifully, we happened to participate in the Comrades Marathon this year. Yeah, it happened on June 8th, 2025.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
And you ran from St. Peter
Pietermaritzburg. Yes, all the way down to Durban.
Maybe for perspective, if you just need to show, he's showing off, of course, with his medals. You need to just hold them and bleed them around.
Oh yeah, sure. So, proudly, this was the medal I gained from my first experience.
Which was last year. That was your first attempt at the Comrades.
Very much so.
You did your 90 kilometers?
Yeah, approximately 85 point something, but with all the curves and turns, I ended up with around 86.7.
And you did that in 7 hours?
And 26 minutes.
7 hours, 26 minutes?
Yes.
Did you get that? 7 hours, 26 minutes of running non-stop.
Sure.
Then, after that gruesome feat, you came back this year.
I decided to go back and see if I can do much better.
For even a longer distance?
A longer distance, yes.
Of 90.8.
90.8.
And this time you returned with?
6 hours and 55 minutes.
Cutting 31 minutes.
Sure.
From your last performance.
Yes, please.
Cherotich, there's something not quite very... can we say we...
Sure.
But, okay. We obviously on the program would love to know you. But I think first let's understand what the Comrades Run is. Tell us, what's the Comrades Run? You as a two-time participant.
My description normally when I'm interfacing with friends, or even when I am having my personal time, is the Comrades Marathon in itself is a challenge. And in any challenge, there is a metamorphosis.
Now those are
You're
big ones.
transitioning from one stage to the other. Just like any other occurrence in nature, you're bound to face pressure, there is temperature, there is heat. Something will always tend to bear down on you.
Or something will propel you.
Will propel you definitely at the end of the day. And how much you can hang in there, I mean, is what determines who you are.
Chero, as you prefer to be called.
Yes, please.
There is someone watching us right now
Yep.
who can barely do a lap around the Lugogo cricket oval where we are. There is hardly anyone that can sustain 2 laps across a tennis court. And you're here telling them that you can set off now and do 90. Not 1 kilometer, not 2, not 10, not 20, not 42 like a marathon, but 90 kilometers.
Yes, please.
That takes more than just legs.
It takes more than legs.
Tell us, what does it take?
That is a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of mental twitching. You have to tune your mind to accept that what I'm
Suffering.
going for is not ordinary, you know. Many people have run it definitely, and they have done pretty well.
When you say many, maybe paint a picture. For someone just watching us from Uganda where there's barely anyone that, you know, runs a marathon of that nature, how many people were you at the starting line? Normally, how many people are they?
As of last year, it happened that around 19,000 people were at the start line.
19 what?
Approximately 19,000 people.
Whoa!
And by grace of God, I must say, I submit to God, I happened to pull that off and came with the 750, in the 754th position.
So I look at you as such an epic champion, but in the grand scheme of things, you came at the 750th.
754th last year.
And this year you came in as?
264.
Oh, that was some great performance.
Sure, thank you.
Wow, Chero.
Yeah.
We wake up in the well. I don't know how to start this conversation, but take us to the starting lineup of the Comrades Marathon. The first time you went for it, what was pushing you there? Or as we love to ask, who was chasing you?
The first time, it was more about what's this Comrades thing?
What is these people that are talking about?
What is this that people are talking about every time?
You are curious.
I was just very curious.
You know what curiosity did to a cat?
It killed it.
Well,
I didn't die. I didn't die.
I love that.
I didn't die. So you get to the start line and you're all sweating even before the gun goes. You're all sweating. It was very cold in that morning, but we were all, I was sweating definitely. And when I tried to look around, there were many people who are as old as even the 80s.
80-year-olds.
Yeah, there was a gentleman who was 82.
And he goes to run 90 kilometers.
He goes to run 90 kilometers.
That one was looking for a light way and quick shortcut to death, maybe.
Apparently, he even set the record for the oldest. He set the record for the oldest.
So what excuse do you have, you 26-year-old couch potato? But we all have our poisons. So, Chero, I mean, you are curious because you had been doing some runs before.
Yes, please.
Oh, and by the way, just for purposes of look, the guy has come assembled with an ensemble of medals he has managed to get from local and regional runs, covering maybe just 5 years. And I'm sure you just didn't bring all your medals, you brought some of them.
No, I didn't bring all of them.
Chero, you're quite something.
I didn't bring all of them.
Maybe let's start from the beginning. Are you an elite athlete?
The elite category in running, when you try to check out the detail of it, is for people who run under 1 hour and 12 minutes for the half marathon. I haven't
That's
checked,
21 kilometers.
That's 21 kilometers. I haven't checked out much of the 10 kilometers, but for 42 kilometers, one must be able to run under 1 hour and 28 minutes.
42 kilometers? No.
I mean, in 2 hours and 28 minutes.
2 hours, 28 minutes.
Sure. For the 42K full marathon.
To be regarded as an
elite runner. my personal best does not give me that. So far, I have 2 hours and 48 minutes. So which makes me fall comfortable in the recreational running world, but more so in the sub-elite category.
Chero, you're so modest.
Sure.
Is this a habit that you've picked up in your later years like some of us? Or is it something that you were doing? Let's start from your childhood. When was the first time you remember running?
The first time I remember running was when I committed an offense in childhood and I was chased after my mom. But she wasn't able to catch me.
Well, I thought she had outrun you. Because then she also comes from the Sebe region.
Yes, please. She wasn't able to catch me. But significantly, when it comes to timed runs, when it comes to performances in a more classified manner, I think my first performance was in primary school, where I participated in. I was representing Red House in Grace Primary School in Bale. Yeah, and I came second in 100 meters.
Wow.
After a young boy by then who was named Edwin Chebet. Actually, I came third.
You even remember who came first?
Oh yes,
in
I
primary
remember very
school?
clearly.
That's
it was
how
100
competitive
meters. There was a boy called Eria, 1 year Eria. Then there was Edwin Chebet. Then I came third.
Then there was Collins Cherotich.
Collins Cherotich. But that was way back in around 2006. I was a young boy, P7 by then.
Young man indeed.
I'm very young, thank you. Then I think like I talked about the metamorphosis. When I left primary school and joined Ginger College, I participated more repeatedly.
For your house, in-house
For my house,
competitions.
correct, yes. I was in a house named Luanga House in Ginger College.
And you were doing these short, high-octane races?
I was
100
doing
meters.
short races. I had never run long distance, not even 5K. And that was but in senior one, unfortunately, I broke my arm.
Oh dear.
Ahead of sports day. But I ran with a broken arm, 100 meters, and I came second.
Yes.
After a young man who is called Kalule Peter. We are still close friends up to today.
Does he still run?
No, he doesn't run. He
Try to
doesn't
chase
run.
him.
Yes.
So at that point, nothing has occurred to you in your mind that this is something that you would love to do.
No,
you were just
nothing
doing
at all.
it.
No, nothing at all. Actually, when you look back to Ginger College, my first run in with a broken arm, it was because of the name Cherotich. I was just pulled out from the crowd. This one here can do.
He can run.
He can run.
They profiled you. He comes from
yes,
the mountains.
Yes.
So.
And I happened to pull it off. Yes, I came second. But I wasn't awarded anything because I had a broken arm. I was posing a risk. I was posing a risk to the entire occasion.
Wow.
Okay. But then in the following year, in my senior two, is when I began participating more regularly. Not in long races, but in shorter races. That was more like 800 meters and 400 meters specifically. Plus there were other fun runs like a bottle race where you have to fill a bottle of water with the water using your mouth. Then you place it on your head, then you run 100 meters with the bottle on your head.
Without touching it?
No, you don't.
Where it falls, that's where the race ends?
Not really. You can pick it up but run back and feel it. And then you go to the finish line.
So you have done all this.
I have done all that.
Then you get to university.
Yes, please.
And at this time you're looking at studying something totally different. What do you study at the university?
I did a Bachelor of Architecture from Shambova University.
So here you are an architect.
Yes, please.
But spending a lot more of your time running.
I spend my time running.
And making architectural plans.
And I do architectural work. I happen to have been employed, but shortly afterwards, I joined the freelance design world, where I have been until now.
Where you just enjoy doing things at your own pace?
Yes, please.
Whether fast or slow, but your own pace?
Yes, please.
So you took your work like how you take your running?
Yes.
Let's go back to now runnings. At university, do you ever participate in inter-hall university athletics?
No, I didn't. Why I didn't is because normally inter-university competitions happen to prevail in times when we would be having university presentations, especially in the architecture school. So I would train, I would even qualify, but I would never show up.
Because you
I needed to finish my academics.
The academics came before recreation and
yes.
the sports.
Yeah, the concept is you're first a student before you become a runner. So what brings you right there is what you start with. I needed to finish school.
But in you, did you feel athletic? Did you feel a level of agility that makes you a spokesman? Or let's say you were still taking it at recreational level, you had never thought of doing this to any extent close to pro?
Now, that goes back in time. When I was in Jinja College, in senior 3, I happened to do cross country. That was 16 kilometers around Jinja. From Jinja College, you know, you run around for 16K. And I remember in senior 3 I came third.
Wow.
I remember there was a young man called Onzima Maxwell who came first.
I'm amazed at how you still remember the names of those that have beaten you today.
Because these are people who pose a threat to you.
So for you, anything that poses a threat to you, hard drive.
Hard drive, your long-term
Are
memory.
you that competitive?
Yeah, sure. And then there was another gentleman who equally ran, and I can barely, he was called Isabidia. He came second, then I came third. And none of them were in my house.
So you marked them.
I still came first in my house. And that was where my power came from.
Wow.
I trained for the following year, where I happened to, I think, come second. And
Overall?
Overall, yes, in the cross country specifically. Then I went to Chira College Boutique, where I happened to assert some dominance, but I happened to have gone there along with Onzima Maxwell.
Who now was like, we now need to either
He
we
still
move as
won.
a duo,
He still won.
or I beat you.
The number of times we did cross country, the man won. And I would always come either second or third in those positions, or even sometimes number 6, because that the course. Now I began understanding courses, I began understanding time,
Terrain,
yes, terrain,
cadence.
and so forth, yes. When I was in high school. And I remember when I was in when we were in second term of senior 6, I wanted to qualify to represent the school and then eventually go to the nationals. Guess why? Because I had heard that when you perform very well,
you get a scholarship to university.
thank you very much. Yeah, because now the finances at home were not very stable. I said if I perform well and I still do well in class, they can aggregate them and then can usher me to the university.
Is that what happened?
Oh, unfortunately not.
But where do you survive to live another day?
I survived to live another day. Thank you.
Incredible life stories with Simon Kasyate. Here on the program with a man called Collins Cherotich, just fresh from running the Comrades Marathon in South Africa from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, a distance of 90 kilometers in one day, and he clocked 6 minutes 55.
6
He's
hours and
6 hours
Yes.
and 55 minutes. He's no elite athlete, he's a recreational runner, he says, but boy oh boy, what a fit. We'll be right back.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Indeed, you've seen them on the roads, in parts near your neighborhoods, running. They are recreational runners, many running for health reasons, but others for the vibe in it. But for one of them, Cherotich Collins, among the many that they are, in what now they call Team Matok, and you'll be telling us more about it, decided that this time round he's taking off the gloves and he went for the Comrades 90 kilometers. What a marvel. I come back to you, Cherotich.
Thank you.
You go to university, you have not made it on the account of sports acumen,
Not at all.
but you're there
Yes.
and you're studying this demanding course, architecture. You are an architect now.
Yes, please.
You now get into the world of employment.
Yes, please.
Then you start joining recreational runs
Recreational
around.
runs.
How did you begin to get into that mix?
That takes a bit of reflection. In the university, around 4th year, is when I began jogging officially.
Just jogging.
From my memory is when I began jogging. Guess why? It was because that was the most tumultuous time in the university, financially,
For you.
for me. Yes, the course was really draining financially, whereby apart from paying the tuition and the functional fees, among others, you needed that money or that cash that can boost
Your project.
the project work. And most of the time I didn't have it right there. So I would go for a walk, I would go for a long run
Just get your head
to get
cool.
my head off. And I remember...
You are running away from your financial problems.
Sure. That is, you could call it so. So I happened to start jogging more often. And around that same time is when I heard that there is going to be the MTN Marathon.
Of
2019.
19.
Yes. So a friend of mine who was close to me told me, hey Chero, are you aware that there is also NSSF run? It was in August run or August
Which
run.
was normally covering the 7 hills of Kampala.
Not really. It was just around here. The 7 hills is different from the NSSF run. So we came here and I did the NSSF run. I did 10 kilometers, but when I checked out later, it was even less. So it didn't count much. But in November of that year, I did the MTN half marathon.
21 kilometers.
21 kilometers.
Challenged yourself.
I suffered.
What?
I suffered. One,
Bad
I had
shoes.
never run more than 15 kilometers.
In your entire life?
In my entire, no, I had run in high school,
Yeah, the
cross
16.
country. Yes, but but after that one, I had never. So here comes 21 kilometers. I have elite runners. I have what, among others, people from Kapchora. Now we began from
Why did you join them? Why didn't you step back?
I did that.
Even though
did
your
that.
name is Cherotich. but-
Yes, I did that, but then I didn't understand the dynamics of long distance running.
Yes.
So I burnt out by like 3 kilometers.
You were chasing them.
I was chasing them. I burnt out by like 3 kilometers, and that's how the race began. I finished way later. I think even the people of 42 kilometers caught up with me, because those ones were doing 2 loops.
Exactly.
Yeah, they caught up with me. But I did it
You
anyway.
secured how many minutes? Or you don't
I
remember?
don't remember, because by then I didn't have
You
a
didn't
watch.
have a watch.
Yeah.
What about your shoes? Did you have proper running shoes?
Not
or
at all.
whatever
Not
was
at
there?
all. Not at all. I actually have a photo. Yeah, I actually have a photo.
You will share.
I'll
Let's
share that
show it
photo
to
with
these
you,
people
and then
here.
you look at it. Yes.
What? So now, when you get in there after the suffering, you realize,
When I came from that marathon, the half marathon, the financial problems didn't stop.
yes.
So I needed to keep running. Then shortly afterwards, St. Kakumba Chapel in the university had a fundraising run. I would participate. The Catholic Chapel had a run. I would participate. So I started running more regularly, just for wellness, but more for mental
health.
mental health. Eventually, in 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I ran more often.
Because everyone anyway was walking or
Everyone was
running.
running. Yes.
The streets were clear.
Sure, yeah. And then 2021, likewise. And in the middle of 2021 is when I graduated from the university. I got employed from a beautiful farm in Ntinda, Design 256, where I happened to go to work and run simultaneously. Sometimes I would walk to work, sometimes I would walk back home. Yeah, but that was what was going on. During one of my runs along the northern bypass, because I was residing in Chireka, I met a batch of people who were running in an evening on a Tuesday. And they're like, hey, one of them knew me. I was like, hey, Chero, meet my friends. We belong to Gatsy Bunch, you know?
Yeah,
This is the evening crew.
See what's
Yeah, what's this? And like, hey, you can join us for stretches at Oryx in Nadia.
Nadia.
I turned around. I went with them to Oryx. They told me, hey, there's a gentleman among them who's like, I've been seeing you for nearly a year now.
On the bypass.
On the bypass. You're very fast. You better join the Saturday crew.
Gatsy is,
Gatsy Bunch.
for the purpose of those watching us,
Yes, please.
is one of the several running teams around Kampala.
Yes,
the many
please.
teams, people now run in teams. I belong to Chewagula, you know that?
Yes, please.
And the Mutungo bus, Mad Bus.
Mad Bus, which helped me significantly for my training to the Comrades this year.
You're telling me?
The Mutungo Mad Bus, they start from Luzira, Mutungo.
In Mutungo.
And then they
pass by me at Akaduka in Buya.
Yes, they
then
navigate
we go
all the way to Entebbe
Entebbe.
Airport. And they turn and finish at Entebbe Cricket Oval, covering a distance of about 50 kilometers.
So those of you who look at me now think that I'm a joke. Now you can see those that are giving testimony around my
Gentleman
running.
runs.
Anyway, back
The
to it. It's
runner.
not my story, it's your
Sure,
story.
Thank you, yes, thank you.
So these Gatsy guys pick you
They
up.
take me in. They take me in. And I noticed that their distances were longer than 20 kilometers
Wow.
on a random Saturday.
One random Saturday
On
morning.
a random Saturday, anyone who does less than a half marathon wasn't known that much.
You were not fitting in.
And then also I had the word general among them. There's a tag given to someone who has run a marathon.
General.
General. So I had General Okudi, General that one, General Harold.
Now for you, you were just
So what
Chero.
is General? I thought these were Afandes.
Hey, real soldiers with
I
pips.
thought these are soldiers.
When it's realized your General Okudi is a civil servant.
These are people who have run a marathon in a fairly good time in the recreational class. And shortly after, that was in September of 2022. 3 weeks in, I was added to a WhatsApp group of Gatsi Bunch, and I see a list running, and people are going to Nairobi for the Nairobi Marathon. Yes, and that's when I happened to participate in the Nairobi Marathon.
So guys, anyway, just for a pause, what you're seeing here is an array of Chero's medals. He is a medal gatherer, and these have been picked up in the last 5 years.
Yes.
And these are not only the runs you have run, because many of your runs don't get medals, like the monthly Kampala Entebbe run.
Yes.
And there are some medals you left at home because you couldn't carry them in your
No, I
bag.
couldn't carry all of them at all. I couldn't. Yes.
So you get that one, you go to Nairobi.
I go to
out of
Nairobi,
curiosity.
and Nairobi thrashed me. Everyone knows my story of Nairobi. My first experience in the
Not the
marathon.
guys watching us, tell us.
Now for Nairobi,
You go
I
thinking
still
you
had
were
the
general.
mistake. I still had the mistake from many years earlier, where I thought I didn't understand what elite running or pacing strategy means. So I went out with the elites. I crossed halfway in 1 hour and 22.
Huh?
Half marathon time is 1 hour and 22 minutes.
You crossed that.
Yes, but I came back later in 3 hours and 49.
But that's your man. It's a sub 4 as we
It's
say.
a sub 4, but then the second half took way longer than anticipated. People whom I never knew, of course, by then in Team Matoke, finished way before me. And everyone noticed me because I had been with them in the bus to
In the
Nairobi.
bus, yes.
So everyone had a story about that young man who cramped, but I cramped badly.
Yes. Because
My
you,
shoulders.
for you are going to chase the elites.
I'm not just the elites.
Not knowing that.
I'm just the elites. Yeah.
So from there now you began to say there must be a science to this
There
run.
must be a science to this running. 1 month later, I attempted a 42 again. Now this was 3 hours and 49 minutes. This 3 hours 33.
You are now improved.
16 minutes.
Cut them off.
Sure.
And this is in Kampala,
This is in Kampala.
where the borders now come out at around 9:30. They
Yes,
don't
please.
respect
Yeah,
runners.
that was how it
Nairobi,
was.
they close everything else.
Yes, please. And the people who motivated me to run this fairly well, even at that pace, there is a gentleman called Henry Biomide. He's good.
I know him.
At that time, he finished way before me. But he told me, man, keep moving. And I tried, though by then I was walking. And then there was a young man as well. His name is Kennedy Odokonyero. He met me. That man is very good with splits. He's very good with timing his splits. Per kilometer, if he says he's running between 440 and 450, he will do that route.
That's 4 minutes,
4 minutes and 40
seconds
Yes.
for a kilometer.
Yes. If he says he's doing that, he will maintain that route. Me, I didn't have that. Me, mine was go when you have the energy, but I'll definitely crash.
But when you say go when you have the energy, someone watching you, you start running, and do you hydrate? Do you drink along the way? We'll talk about your lifestyle later on in the program, but when you're on the run, what do you do? Are you able to pick up something to eat, something to drink, take a short call? Can't your bowels give way?
I think for everyone that is an experience, which is a real tech indeed. Initially, I used not to run. I used not to drink anything on the route. But as I kept interfacing with the data online, interacting with people who have run longer, even going to marathons outside Uganda, like the world marathon majors, Berlin, Tokyo, Chicago, among others. I noticed people even have nutritionists.
Yet for you, are just eating your muogo
I would bang mogo in the morning and go scatter. Yeah, man.
and beat them.
And,
So when this journey began of these first 3 medals, you went wired. Chero, you went rogue.
Yes.
You started attending every run.
What happened? Now this one here was a 10K run in Nalia, a random run. It was called TMR. There's a church there. Had a
Church,
fundraiser.
is it a church or is it?
It's a hospital.
A hospital, yes.
Yes, I happened to participate and I won in 21K. This was when I did the personal best by then. It was 1 hour and 21.
Wow.
It was when it occurred to me that the people whom I run with every day have what we call high mileage. They accumulate mileage over a long time so that they get accustomed to running.
They don't just wake up like you.
They don't just wake up like me and I just go. So I started running regularly by joining Activate challenges.
That's another running outfit that
Yes.
if you join this madness, you possibly get the whole feel of it. Back to your story.
Yeah, so I decided to join Activate Uganda in their challenges, whereby you're supposed to run 3 kilometers every day. You either run or walk 3 kilometers per day.
For a whole year.
There's 100 days, then there is the whole year.
Which then will bring you to about what? 1,000 kilometers in a year?
Yes, please. But then my plan was to do 100 days. But while in that group, I found many people encouraging me and inspiring me to do better. Okay? And I realized the more I ran these 3 kilometers, the more I wanted to surpass 3 kilometers. When I was in this fraternity, there were people who were doing more than 3 kilometers. Some are doing 16 kilometers per day, 10 kilometers per day.
Where do you get the
So
time?
I was challenged. I was challenged. I was like, I need to really step this up. So I kept pushing further and further. Okay. When the 100 days ended around Easter time of that year, I said I'm going for 365.
You continue with the challenge.
I continued with the challenge. Yeah, and systematically, I kept becoming better and better, especially with time management. I even bought a watch. This is a Garmin Phoenix 5S.
Because that is what's meant specifically for runners.
Yes.
To time your pace,
Yes.
tell you the distance, to tell you your pressure.
Yes, among others, the
cadence.
pace, the heart rate, the cadence, among others. Wow. And it can even, you can even tweak them a bit to get a race plan or a race strategy. When you're going to climb, it will tell you slow down. If you're going to go down, it will tell you pick up to this pace, so you can easily plan your run.
So now after doing things manually from your God-given gusto from the hills of Sebei,
Yes.
now you started using AI.
I started now transitioning
To AI.
systematically.
That
Yes.
must also have something to do with the shoes.
Oh yes.
Tell us about the shoes.
I now transitioned. There is a service provider. It is called Baruch Sports. And for anybody who is actually in need of some of this running gear, it could be shoes, socks, shorts, watches, capes. There is a supplier named Baruch Sports with Coach Timothy Ahimbisiwe of Gatsi Bunch.
So I am going to charge you for that advert, but please proceed.
Thank you very much. So he happened to have most of the things in display. And I happened to buy one of my first modest shoes to run with.
Are
And I
these the
noticed-
ones we have?
Not really, not at all, yes. But I noticed the more I ran with them, I would just have this bounce
You were
and
just
the motivation to move.
to move. Yeah,
You
you are
know,
not feeling a lot
I
of.
wasn't feeling a lot of burden like how I initially had.
But have you ever been any size bigger than this, Chero?
The maximum number of kilograms I've ever had is 65,
How many do you have now?
60. But as of early this year, I had 64, which means I chopped the 4 ahead of the comrades.
This is a lot of work.
Yeah, sure.
But as you do this, at this point, are you still doing it for recreation, or now it has become a lifestyle?
It's called adaptation. I think I cannot do without it now. That's more now like a lifestyle to me.
So when you say you cannot do without it, what do you mean? You take it like tablets 3 times a day? How many kilometers do you do a day? At what intervals? When?
Unlike in days when I'm having rest or recovery,
Like you're doing now
like
from
I'm
your-
doing now after the Comrades Marathon, I average approximately minimum of 50 kilometers a week.
How do you spread them across?
We have training programs. You subscribe to a training program, and that can help you to balance the long runs, the tempo runs, we call them fartlek sessions, the speed sessions, the hill work or hill repeats. For some people, they can even integrate gym sessions, among others, you know. These help you to better yourself in running. But I, for one, I focus more on the running, the mobility bit of it.
Then, Chero, this has stopped being recreational. So you're picking these medals. So eventually, do you target at monetizing your participation in these runs?
I personally feel I have not reached the max of my potential.
Wow.
I have a lot of energy to spare whenever I finish a run. there is never a run which I have finished and I feel I am really burnt out.
Even the Comrades?
Not at all.
Even this one?
No, this one was a long run.
And you still completed without... Well, I've seen a video of you just whooshing past the cheerleaders and all that.
Oh yeah, I barely had them.
They were shouting your name, trying to give you a flag, and you just...
I barely had them. Also, they were very humongous speakers right there shouting out. Yeah, I could barely hear them, but I would have loved to finish with the flag like I did last year. Yeah, we have beautiful photos I'll share with you.
But of course, I mean, we saw them online and everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Wow, It's Collins Cherotich telling us his incredible life story, a story of epic endurance, a story of performance, a story of doing things that few people can do, especially if they're not doing so for money, if they're not doing for fame, but it's just doing so as a lifestyle now. Having picked it up as part of the madness of habits we pick up along the way. What's your habit? What are you running for? Who is running after you? That's the conversation we're having on Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Welcome to Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate. From wherever it is that you catch your podcast or watching us from YouTube, those who haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. For our incredible partners, UBC, we are ever grateful that you give us an opportunity to share these incredible life stories, if for nothing else, to inspire your array of viewership. Collins Cherotich, not an elite athlete, just a usual guy around the corner, an architect for that matter, doing your own thing, but you choose to get into the madness of recreational running, and boy oh boy, look at the medals you're getting. And now you are possibly famed as one of the fastest recreational runners. Does that make you feel so special?
Well,
and challenged?
I think I could say special, or you could say special. You could say challenged. They all fit in, you know. But personally, I feel inspired.
Inspired?
Yes, I feel motivated. More so because I'm in a community of people who appreciate what we are doing.
Tell me about this community of runners that is taking the buzz around Kampala. I mean, on almost every hill, in every neighborhood, there is a running club. And this is populated by folks with daytime jobs, dads and moms,
yes,
ordinary guys that you find with respectable status. Some, in fact, with habits that are not in consonance with the running.
Yeah.
We, you know, hey. Tell us about this whole wave. Because it's a new one.
I think the pursuit of wellness is one thing that people have to really understand very well. What we are doing here is not just waking up in the morning and going for a run. Most people have, could be health reasons to pursue this.
Like me.
Yeah, sure. Then some people could be mental incapabilities that they can navigate around when they go out for a run.
Like me sometimes,
yeah,
you have something bothering you,
yeah,
and you choose to go on the road and push yourself for 30 kilometers.
Yes.
Everybody sees you sweating,
yes,
but perhaps you are crying.
Sure. And then another person, others could be dealing with addictions, you know. And they say, for me, I'm going to go out for a long run because my therapist tells me this can help me the most. And therefore, they do it today, they do it tomorrow, and before knowing it, they are accustomed to the whole routine.
I mean, there are those who have addictions of Friday night and what happens on Friday night into Saturday morning.
We have those people as well.
So you say, I'll go for a long run on a Saturday morning. So it helps you avoid Friday night madness.
Yes. Yeah, so in Uganda specifically, especially around Kampala, there is our umbrella club. It's called the Team Matoke.
That now almost everybody in the region or in Africa now identifies with Uganda. The moment they see a t-shirt with the Matoke,
they know that one is Uganda. Yeah, so Team Matoke has a number of clubs really. So for me, I'm in Gatsi Bunch, based in Nalia, although I stay in Entebbe.
Wow.
And because that is my neighborhood, I also run with the Road Striders.
Wow.
Who are in Lubowa. But further deep into Entebbe, we have Chewagula.
which I belong to,
Which you belong to.
although I live in Kampala.
Although you live in another side of Kampala.
That's why I'm in the Mutungo Mad Bus,
Thank you
because
very
they're
much.
close.
And then we have the Mutungo Mad Bus. Okay, we feed into each other. We have the Fast and Furious at Kampala Club. We have Team Together
From
Best
Parliament.
Elsewhere, from Parliament. Then we have so many other clubs. Okay, and people have taken to running.
Your friends, the Shoe and Steady Hikers.
We have the Shoe and Steady Hikers. These are
We can
people
mention
who
all
are-
their names anyway, but we.
so many.
Yeah.
So I was saying, these are people who have decided to form a community where they appreciate this recreational running to
And
that extent.
support each other.
They support each other.
And cheer each
They
other.
cheer each other up.
Even facilitate each other if they are going to be offshore travel.
Sometimes they do that, which is very beautiful.
You have run across the country.
Yes,
You've
I
been
have.
telling me about runs you've had in Bunyonyi, which is in Kabale. You have run in your hometown in Kapchorwa.
Yes, please.
You have run in Mbale. You have run in Gulu. I can see
Yes, I have
here
the
the
Gulu
Gulu City Marathon is
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
You are going to be running in Fort Porto, I believe. You're going to, like, you have run everywhere. Yeah. That takes a certain level of personal discipline. What's your discipline like? Do you drink alcohol?
No, I do not.
You
And that's
smoke?
the beauty about me.
You smoke?
I do not drink. I do not smoke. I have never been in a club
Eh?
per se.
So
Yeah,
all the
I've been
music you hear it at our get together.
Oh yes, when I come to get together is when I can enjoy that music.
What about your food? What do you eat, Cheryl?
Uh,
To remain at 60 thereabout.
until recently, I used to eat randomly. You know, whatever I come across is what I would eat. But somehow last year specifically, when we were training for the Comrades, we happened to engage, there's a lady named Regina Nanteke.
She's a nutritionist?
She's a nutritionist.
Wait, you guys took it to that level?
Oh yeah, she happened to get us meal plans. If you were able to present her the information to her, she would get you a meal plan. Or if you cannot afford what specifically she tells you, she can tell you these are the foods which give you what you need.
What you need.
And therefore we could easily fit in.
It says carbohydrates. If you cannot afford matoke, you do your muogo.
Or if you react to this kind of food, go for this. Yeah, so she helped us, and that way she has hoarded for me the foods which I can eat. And now I'm accustomed to them because they are readily available.
What's your
anywhere.
favorite dish now?
Personally, I love portion beans. It's the one I eat regularly. I love portion beans. Yes, and as long as there are some greens, there's a kind of greens, a jobio.
Jobio, yes.
There is jobio, then there's another one which is rather bitter.
In my language, I think it's called a shuiga or something.
Yeah. I love portion beans, but with that one on the side.
Wow.
Yeah,
And what's your favorite drink? Water?
Fanta.
You seem to be... But that's sugar. Your posho, carbohydrates.
Yeah,
Packed into a small space.
yeah.
Fanta, carbonated sugars,
I like
processed.
Fanta.
And then you're able not to get obese or get visceral fat and things like that. That's quite something.
Yeah, I
You
really
need to be
don't.
studied.
I don't know, but Fanta is something that I've taken ever since I was young.
So for you, it's a
But,
childhood palate,
Yeah, sure.
culinary.
But one thing which you don't want to forget, or which you would love to note, is I've grown up in a setting where we are physically active.
Very important.
When I go for the holiday, we are in the farm, we are plowing, I'm helping out with if they are lumbering trees, I'm helping out with carrying those logs
Dogs, yes.
all over the place.
This is at
you know,
home in
in
Kapchorwa.
Kapchorwa. If it is harvest time, we don't have combined harvesters, no. We go cut them ourselves and we are transporting them in donkeys. So we are physically...
When you say we're talking about now your family as Chero. How many children are you from this home of your mother?
We are 5. I'm the first.
You're the first
Yep.
of
4
5.
boys and a girl.
4 boys and a girl. Does your father run?
He ran back in the day, but he was more into football.
And your mother? Well, she couldn't catch you when you were a child, but
yeah. But mom, I can't tell.
you haven't
I can't
you haven't
tell.
done
Though
any
I heard that
mischief.
she used to run, but I can't really justify that.
So it's actually true that everyone from your side of town actually has quick feet.
Not everybody.
How come? Because every top runner in this country or long distances, we
I
know the
think,
names. Kip Siro, Kip Rope, Kip Tegei. All these are your cousins. These are your brothers. These are your...
The majority do run. But where there's a majority, there's always the other less.
So you think there's a guy from Kapchorwa who I could outrun me?
Definitely.
They must be
Definitely.
They must be with a huge disability.
Definitely. And you are fast. For your information, you are fast. Because if
Okay.
you're able to pull off 5 minutes per kilometer, you're a very strong runner.
Yeah, when I have to die because of people like you. So Chero, where do you see yourself and this so-called habit that you have picked up in the next? Do we have a retirement for things like this? Or your retirement means getting slower and participating in less races?
Now, this comes with limitations. Okay? And I think I, for one, if resources would allow, I would take on a greater scene than the recreational scene.
When you say resources allow, what exactly are you talking about? Let's understand it. Maybe someone out there has the resources, you have the legs. How do the two of you meet? What are the resources for?
One thing you'll take and you're aware of is that these runs need to be signed up for.
That's registration fees.
You need to register for the run. And
You need to find the right gear, the right
you
shoes.
need to find the right gear and the right shoes. And there is no cheap shoe if you want to do good running.
Up there.
Yeah. Because all my shoes are carbon plated.
What that mean?
And carbon plated definitely means they have a propelling factor for you to perform better.
Wow.
There are those which are not carbon plated, but mine are because of my body and how I move. Some people cannot bear, but me, I do.
Because you're always with the bounce.
me, I know.
Hardly your heels start down.
Sure.
You are always walking like that character in the Things Fall Apart called Okonko, who walked to the
Okonko,
gate.
yeah. So, there is the gear, there is transport, there is feeding.
The meal plan you are talking about.
The meal plan I'm talking about.
Training.
So, training now is where the real deal is.
Where you
There
now
is
cannot train. If you're going for Comrades, you better first go back to Sebeatere,
Yep.
the high altitude training center.
And now take an example. Last year I did 7 hours and 26 and 23. This year I have 6:55, 36.
Longer distance.
Longer distance, better time. I want you to know that of course there is that urge to perform way better.
Well,
And that therefore takes a greater toll on me as an individual. And where there is backing, it gives you ample time to focus on the training itself.
so to say, if you had no more sponsorship, where in fact you may want to even step away from your daytime job and know that my sponsorship takes care of my basics,
Yeah.
my remuneration, I am paid, so you could actually go in and become an elite long distance runner to represent this republic.
Yeah, sure. Whereby you find that you can go and contend for the higher positions.
How old are you, Cheryl?
I'm 30.
30, isn't that a little bit too old? Normally athletes at their prime and normally they are 30, in their 20s. Or you're being honest at 30, whereas an elite at 35 would claim they are 27. Is
Not
that
really. I'm 30, and if you observe long distance running,
Eliud Kipchoge?
the Eliud Kipchoges, the Joshua Cheptegei. I met Joshua Cheptegei for my first time in 2012, where I was running 800 meters. He was running 5,000 and 10,000 meters, and he won both of them. I won the 800 at that time. These people began early, but they
Which
were
you
in
did it.
schools. I equally did, but they
not-
were in schools where they could easily be boosted. They could be fostered to perform better. So let's say he was being sponsored. He got a scholarship in that school because he was in MM College Wairaka,
Wow.
where he was being sponsored. So his
And then
work was to
afterwards, now he is in the armed forces.
run. But that
Really?
he was still picked from the university.
University?
Yes.
So armed forces, just to say you have an address, but they are financing you
Yep.
and pushing you.
So you find your focus is on running. At the moment, I think I'm an architect. I love my work and I can perform. If I have now, I cannot get all my resources
And
I
put them
put
into recreation.
them there.
So I know someone, or maybe someone is watching us, who can, I don't know whether you can be conscripted into the forces now, because there's one of the armed forces has an engineering brigade, where they would need architects, and then we know now you become a proper general, in the real sense of the word.
I don't know how that works.
Is that something that you would consider? If
I have never
someone watching
considered
you
being in
tonight
I've never considered
says
being in
we'll
the forces.
conscript you in the army for purposes of an address, support your career in running?
I think that one's a good opportunity as well. If
Because-
you describe it that way, that's a very good opportunity. But I have never contemplated joining the army.
I mean, that's how the Choptegei is, and Kipsiros are in the forces, prisons, police, and all that, on the account of their talent, but they are there for the address and support.
Sure.
So, I mean, you could join the army
That's
as
very
what?
beautiful. But
A
I would
captain?
focus on ultra running.
Ultra run, yes.
Ultra running.
Does that bring money?
It does bring money.
To the country and glory?
Yeah, sure. When you check out the statistics of the Comrades Marathon, there is a club in South Africa named Nedbank Running Club.
Yes.
These people take almost the whole 10 spots at the top. And
I
you-
saw the top guys here in their green.
Oh yeah, and they go for the money. They go for the money.
So when you win the Comrades, how much money they put in your pocket?
From this year, I saw the first position. If it did not break the record, was 178 million Uganda shillings.
178 million Ugandan shillings.
Yes, that was for the first position,
Wow.
and it's the same equivalent for the lady who comes first. Okay, yeah. So I know I may not even. Everyone has their day.
But you think you can bring that home, Chero?
Everyone has their day. Everyone has their day, and you never know what could happen.
And the guy who took it this year, is he older than 30?
I can barely recollect that, but he was in my age category.
Wow. So you're not late?
No, not too late.
Wow.
Most of the long distance runners, I have observed who perform really well. They are in 35 to 36 range.
Wow.
Actually 33 to 36 to 37 range. People who are normally taking these marathons across, they're in that range of age.
Well, we've seen the big African names that come in from way back, from Eli Chepchoge, Gebre Selassie, and all the others. And then, of course, the Ugandan magicians.
Yeah,
You
sure. They
boys
have
from-
that prime age where they can perform.
which
And it's
you
not
are
too
yet
late.
to get to.
It's not too late.
Chero, it's been a pleasure having you on the program, but you will
you.
not leave this program without sharing with us a few personal tidbits. Do you ever get hungry?
I do get hungry.
What angers you?
Hunger.
Anger. What makes you angry? What makes you annoyed?
I think what can anger me, per se, is I seldom get angry.
You still don't get angry.
I seldom get angry.
So you can't even remember what makes you angry.
I don't know completely.
But what gives you a very good laugh then, on the other side? Because you're always smiling even as you run in a gruesome run.
No, I think what makes me really happy is being in the moment. Yeah, when I have an opportunity to do something which makes me feel good, it definitely is accompanied by a smile.
Many people that have families, wives, children, and are into this kind of business you're doing, their wives and children sometimes, not with much respect to them, don't seem to appreciate that someone can get addicted. Do you have a family yourself?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But I'm eyeing someday.
You are eyeing someone.
Yes.
So don't you think that may disrupt you when you get into raising a family and all that? Would it distract you with your focus?
I think sometimes you don't have to worry about where you have not yet reached.
You worry for the moment.
Live in the moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Focus on the now.
So in other words, bottom line is you see Chero in the next 5 years as a household long distance running champion.
Sure.
Not just here in Uganda, but across Africa and maybe the world, if you get the financing that it requires.
Yeah, sure. And it's one of the things that I'm trying to work around. I'd say that I better it. I have been doing the freelance line of work for a short while. About now, this is like the third or fourth year, and I'm contemplating, to get better in cash flow and stuff. Considering getting a job.
So that then you're able to finance your hobby in a more comfortable way.
There is the hobby, but there is also other things that need to be sustained.
Wow, I love that.
There's also other things that need to be sustained.
At a personal level, at a
Thank you.
professional
Yes,
level.
yes.
So on Incredible Life Stories here at Simon Kasyate, you've had the story of Cherotich. But in Chero's story is hundreds, maybe even thousands of young men and women out there that are elite material for any sport they engage in, but they do not have the financing to go into it full time. They've not had the facilities to train to the epic levels that should be. They have possibly not realized that what you may think is a bad habit or a small little hobby like running could actually be a cash cow. Imagine going for a job of 5 hours and come back with over 150 million shillings having won the Comrades. Who makes that money genuinely? So those are the inspirations that we may need to happen as we listen to this story. But most importantly, for your own health, for your own well-being, how about getting a moment to step out of your comfort zone and trot the hills as Chero and I are going to do to say kwaheri to you. God bless. Till next time.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.